But this is a real good way to start your students out learning Uchi Mata. And they can stay with it all their careers if they want. In fact, talking about Kenny Brink earlier, Kenny Brink was a very good athlete in judo. His right side Uchi Mata was a classic split down the middle Uchi Mata. He threw a lot of guys for your opponent. His left Uchi Mata was the style we're going to do today was more a leg style or spinning style Uchi Mata. It was still Uchi Mata, but it was a really different throw from the right to the left. So he had a weapon on each side there, but it was still Uchi Mata. So it's a great technique. So we're going to look at this. I'm going to use these for a second. All right, so when we come out here and we're doing Uchi Mata, everybody see this okay? All right, in many cases today, whether it's Judo, Sambo, BJJ, any form of Jiu-Jitsu, submission, grappling, and jacket, they're bent over. And this is, a lot of new guys are bent over when they start, aren't they? Okay? All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a grip that's going to be best for me to use, and then so I can manipulate my body better to control his body. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take my right hand, and I'm going to reach kind of around his deltoid, just around his shoulder here. I'm not going to do a big loopy grip because you can throw me into oblivion. But I'm going to get this grip here, right about here in this area, the scapula, the shoulder blade area. I don't want to reach too far. You know, I may, you know, because sometimes we can get a nice deep grip and hit with this, but start with this. Get this grip right about here. See where I've got it? Okay? Now, my palm is not, my elbow is not up. I'm kind of sucking it in tight. You'll see why I'm controlling with my elbow too. So see that grip, right? Now the other hand is going to be a little longer grip, okay? The longer means it's further away from his body mass, his body. So I'm going to grab a little lower toward the sleeve. This gives me room to operate. If I grab too tight in here, that might work. You know, try it, see if you like it. But I definitely, if I can do this, I'll have more room to operate. So I want to give my body room to spin in front of him and throw him over my leg. So I've got him here. Now this is often very good against guys who are blocking out or they're just grabbing, they're bent over, you know. This is perfect against a guy like that. Okay, you can still get a guy who's got an upright posture, just as easy. But often we see this. Now, we've got the grip, okay? It's how I stand. Like I like to say, if you start right, you finish right, okay? So my opening stance is when we're gripping and we're fighting and everything. Now I got him here. I want to have my right foot just beside his left foot. Can everybody see that? Okay. I want to be here. I want to be leading a bit with my foot. I just call it a sugar foot. Pick that up in wrestling because it's a sweet foot. You know, when I go for it, it's kind of bait, you know. But in this case, it's not really bait because I'm going to pivot on this foot. All right. So I got this and I got this. Now I'm not going to lift. I'm just going to pull him into me as I spin. Okay, so it's important that I don't have to lift him. That's really important in this throw. You're not lifting. All right, now see the foot, see the hands? Now this back foot, I'm going to spin out here parallel to his foot. Just to the side of it, where I have a fair amount of room. Some people be closer, some people be farther. I think that if you get a little further away, you have a deeper entry to throw. See this? So I'm here, spin here, and I sweep. Now when I sweep, I just pull him into the throw. Okay? And he's being thrown pretty much over my leg. I'm using my leg to sweep, and you can catch anywhere along the line of the leg. You could even catch him higher in the thigh, put it around here. I've seen guys get clocked with an Uchi Mata just along there. You can throw them any length of down the length of the leg. It really works well. Okay? I'm going to have you guys done with that. Can you pick on where Jake will have Matt show his leg? So coming out a little bit, just do it before you fall. So don't hit him in the pants, right? Don't kill a guy. You see how he's starting? Okay? Here, he's got the grip here. He's sugar footing a little bit. Okay? Now when he spins around, just go at full speed. Boom. Nice. Clean technique. Okay? Let's parse that out. Let's watch his feet. Okay, so when he comes in, he spins about. Look at that left foot. Deep. And what he does is he's going to point his toe and just sweep whatever's there, which will be his leg. Kind of hard to do, but if you get a little shake. Now watch, he's a bigger guy, so he's doing it a little bit differently. But can you watch the movement? Let's spin it out. Yeah, just. He's throwing a lot of guys with this particular style of Uchi Mata. And he usually rolls through because then he'll get the full point in the judo. You know, Sambo, he picked at 4, that's why he likes to finish. In Sambo, if you finish like that, you get a total victory, you win the match automatically, kind of like in Pong. Just look at that. So look at the grip. Now he likes a little higher grip than I do. Okay, that's just personal preference. Can everybody see how we do that? Okay. Now when he does it, see he's leading up. Now he's just there. See there? There's a step. There's a setup. Now watch when he steps. When he steps, real quick, he's not lifting and pulling. He's not doing this. He doesn't need to. There's more than one way to break the balance. And this is how we do it. But you notice also his hands, that he lifts with his hands, his elbows stayed in contact. But watch the elbow. Can you see? His elbow was sucking him in. It wasn't lifting. It was pulling him in. What you're doing, it's like you're taking a belt or a rope and wrapping around his body and sucking it into you. And that's exactly what these guys are doing. So let's look at the contrast up here. Can you pick on poor Jake again? By the way, we have a pecking order. Eric used to be the guy getting beat up all the time. You watch the videos, and now he's graduating now. And this is a sign of badge of honor for this guy, because now he's the guy that we picked to take all the falls. Not all of them, but he's learning, so he's doing a good job. Okay, get your grip. Get your high grip on. Okay. Now spin it out. Sweep. See that? The sweep isn't the big, beautiful. It's a sweep. Just come in and chomp it. It may be a short chomp, it may be a big chomp. Can you do it on your two guys? So watch how the sweep's a little bit different. Everybody's going to have a little different way of doing this. See that? If you teach that style of Uchi Mata initially, your students are going to have success that evening doing Uchi Mata, even children. I taught this when I was teaching little kids. That's how I introduced Uchi Mata to children, every time. And they had good Uchi Matas. Later on, as they got better, we taught them there are a lot of different ways to do Uchi Mata. We taught different styles of Uchi Mata. I generally went next to the more classic, straight down the middle, classic Uchi Mata. But this was the way I started everybody in Uchi Mata. It's worked for me. And I suggest you try it. It might work for you equally as well. Okay? Let's practice each other. We want to use the crash pads. But good idea is to use the crash pads. Good idea. So let's work on the form of getting in and maybe taking a fall or two without the pads. And then to get a little more power into it, let's throw each other and practice with the pads. Just team up. We have 3 crash pads. Should be no waiting. Okay? So let's go ahead and work on the form a bit, and then we'll come back and work on the crash pads. Okay, let's do that. Again, when you start, you think about a few things here. Okay? Now, start here. You don't want to have a floating elbow. That's what I call a floating elbow. Now, sometimes when you come in a more classical style of Uchi Mata, you may. That's great. That work for that. This particular case, I want to have him close my body with this body space and close here. Okay? This is especially good if somebody's like really bent over and he's like this, like, oh, thank you, because this is so good. Because what you're doing, you're wrapping that rope or belt around him, and you're looping him in and sucking him in. Okay? Now, when I suck it, you can also grab the belt down here. You can grab as low as you wish, as long as you've got control of the body. But when I'm doing this, I'm not lifting. Don't think you have to lift. Okay, so I'm just spinning, and I'm pulling him into me the whole time. This leg is going to do a lot of the work. Okay. Another thing, when I'm doing this, I don't have to lift his. I don't want to think about lifting the leg. Lifting the leg is secondary to my back step and getting the position, the spinning movement here, parallel to him. Okay. And I don't want to be too far back. I want to be kind of parallel sideways to him. But this will be more of a clipping action. When I say clip, not in a bad way. I don't mean to clip and hurt him. I mean it's a fast clipping and throwing motion. You may even, like I said, catch him down here. I've seen guys get caught with an ankle Uchi Mata. Okay? So when I'm doing this, I don't have to think about lifting that. Don't even think about lifting your leg. Just sweep it. It's just a sweeping, reaping action. That's all you want here. And that makes it work pretty good. Okay, you guys demo for somebody do something that so watch the leg action. It's not a big exaggerated, it's not a huge thing where I have to lift them up. Right? Can you do it? And watch, it's a fast clipping. You don't want a real fast, you don't want to lift them much with the leg. You don't need to. See, he did in that case because you know what? He moved so well. But the point is you want to lift with the leg. Okay? Make sense? Let's get back at it and then we'll get to the crash pads. Okay, let's go. What were you guys talking about? So what were you guys talking about?
Staying straighter.
Staying straighter. Look, you don't necessarily need to stay. He's bent over, okay? Now, I'm not going to bend over and be all crossed over either. My old friend Harry Parker, God rest his soul, he's a great man, a great judo man. He said, always lead with your hips, okay? In other words, if I'm too bent over, I'm giving him my hips, I'm giving him space to attack me, okay? All right, so I don't want to do that. So if he's in any position he is, okay? When I come in, I don't want to have to lift up. I don't want this up posture. All I want to do is spin. So I might be slightly bent. I might be bent over too a little bit. When I'm doing it, key thing here is to catch the spin. So you want to pull them into your area here. Your waki, as the Japanese call it, under the armpit area, the side of the torso. And now it's like a hinge. Okay, he's on me, right? And we're spinning and I'm taking over this direction. So just watch him. He's got a nice Uchi Mata here. See that? And when he did this, it was this and a sweep. Think about those out. Don't think about pulling. It's a different style of Uchi Mata than the others. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? And we've seen some adaptations, haven't we? Have changed. Do you want to show the guys what you guys came up with? Come on here, Terry. Poor man, you know what he's got. So, talk about how you made a change.
So, well, anyway, I'm a BJJ coach, so I deal with a lot of BJJ guys to get their hips out and make it hard. So I have to go up and get in here and find the belt, in many cases, in the front of the belt, not all the way in the back. But then when I'm here, now then I can just step in.
Adapt it to make it work for you.
Yeah, and go right.
Adapt it to make it work. You know? And we were talking about the Sambo. Where's Eric? Come out here. We see this in Sambo to some degree. And that led to our discussion we had earlier. When we're gripping here and stuff, okay, he might not let me have this overhand on it. He might block it away, pull away or something, right? And I might have to swim under. I might have to swim under almost a Nagoshi type grip. Okay, I don't care. I know I've got him and I'm sucking him in tight now. And you notice I'm not lifting, I'm sucking him in tight. I'm spinning, catching Uchi Mata. So again, adapt it to what you needed to adapt to. And this is a good way to do it. You can throw with Nagoshi type grip. Okay, why not? I like to say, no matter what you call it a pawn. You've heard me say that before plenty of times, guys, and it's the truth here. Let's work on this, and we're going to work on another variation of Uchi Mata. Get this down. Let's go. We need to get the crash pads out. Let's do it. Keep going. Keep going. We're going to show you a drill that will help your spinning style Uchi Mata. And it's unusual there. This should be on, turn about here, so. Okay, and have your left knee up, because he's going to right side. Okay, now here's a great drill. Come out with your foot just a little bit. No. Bigger. Now look. And this is a drill, and it's a good way, maybe even if someone needs remedial work in their Uchi Mata, this is the way, and I'll tell you where I learned it. I needed remedial work in my Uchi Mata, and my old sensei, Jerry Sweat, did this with me when I was like 12. So it helped me, it can help you. You know,
and it's a great way of doing it low impact wise as well. Yeah. So if your training partner is getting tired of you throwing him with Uchi Mata for 2 hours, let him take it.
All he's going to do, see how he's leading with his foot inside the foot? See that? Right foot inside the foot? He's going to spin about and do Uchi Mata. There you go. It's Uchi Mata. Okay? That's a great way to teach remedial skills in Uchi Mata. And like you said, you don't have to take a real hard fall every time. But there you go. So it's the same style of Uchi Mata we just did, isn't it? And we're not trying to lift over the leg. Yes, ma'am?
I actually teach kids to do Uchi Mata that way because often you'll see somebody get in that position in a tournament. They go in for a throw, they miss, and we help them up because what so often happens is you have that guy like, and then he stands up and you didn't do anything. Yeah. So we actually practice for that.
Yeah, I've seen guys at the international level, where you can verify this, that he may be down on basically on your knees. And you'll see this a lot in wrestlers. You know, wrestling's a wonderful sport. But in this case, for judo, it doesn't really work. What they'll do, they want to come up and drag step, right? And if he does, just come up on your knee like a wrestler. And I've seen guys get clocked when they were on their knees and they stepped up on the foot to get a base up again, right? Well, they get thrown. You know, and I don't know if they call that IGF anymore, but if that would happen in one of our tournaments at freestyle judo, that could be any palm.
Yeah, Ryder won her first Junior Olympics with that. We had practiced that exact move, and just the kid happened to come in and was on one knee and coming up, and then her parents went ballistic. Like, oh, what is it, a throw? It's like, nope, she was on one knee, so that's a legit standing technique, and she landed flat on her back.
Because she started standing, or he started standing in this particular case. So let's do this, so then we're going to work with a very classic Uchi Mata from here, okay? But let's take
One more time.
now watch, be a good partner like Eric is, poor guy, but see how it is? He's got a grip here, he's got a grip here. And all he's emphasizing now is that leg, and that's what I want you to emphasize now, like that. See, it's a quick flipping action. You don't need to lift it with your leg, right? This teaches you, don't lift it with your leg. There you go. All right, let's drill on that, and we'll come back. Real quick, what does Uchi Mata mean? Uchi Mata?
Inner thigh.
Inner thigh, right? Okay, Uchi is inside. Mata, she speaks Japanese, is the fork in the road, the split in the middle of a tree. It's the middle of something. And in this case, it's between the thighs, okay? Or around the thighs. So that's why it's called Uchi Mata. Okay, so it's a split down the middle, throat. It's a splitting. So that's what it implies. We're going to work on a split down the middle, a classic style Uchi Mata, at least how I look at it. A lot of people do it the same way. And notice some differences. You're not throwing them over your hip primarily. You're using your hips in position, but you're lifting them. You'll see when Derek does this. Can you just watch the situation here? Just watch how he does it. Classic Uchi Mata, point the toe and everything else. So let's parse that apart and we'll take a look at it here. All right. Now, again, the grip. Now, if somebody said, I'm sorry. Look, if you want to grip like this, grip like this. Okay? I mean, not everybody's built the same. That's fine. So if your surite, if you want it here, that's okay. That's cool. But what we're going to show today is to get your grip, and you saw how he did it here. We're going to get this grip like we have here pretty much. Okay? All right. So that's a very good grip. Again, don't go over the shoulder because he can counter me with an Uranagi and I can be slammed. So Derek will show you here how to grab like this. And when we do this, we're not grabbing so low down here, we're grabbing a little here, up here, so we can get the classic pull. This is a classic surikomi lifting pulling action, Uchi Mata style, okay? But we're going to get our foot out of the way. So when I do this, I'll show it now, and Derek will show it him as well. When we're doing this, when I'm setting him up, and I start this, I'm pulling up and, see, up, okay, looking at the back of my hand and rolling it, just like you've learned, very classic style, okay? But I'm not stepping to him because he can foot sweep me, okay? And plus, if I do this, I'm in a really wrong position for this throw, okay? I want to get my right foot out of the way. I just want it out of the way. I just want it to cross here. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to step across here, and the back step is the key one. I often call it a deep step Uchi Mata, okay? All right, come on in here. So let's look at it again. Listen, I'll have him throw you one more time. And watch how he just comes in. Uchi Mata, okay? So again, let's take it apart, and we'll put it back together. All right, so the grip, you okay? So the grip is, get your grip. Again, the first thing you touch them with is your hands, right? So let's get a good grip. Solid grip here, okay? Now, if you do float your elbow, that might work for you. Some guys will do that. We'll lift up high like this. Okay. If it throws, it's good. All right? But the key thing here is the hikite, the pulling hand. And when he pulls, he's curling up and he's lifting. Now look at this space. He's going to fill that with his body action, not just his hip. Now, when he steps across with his foot, he's not really stepping to his toe. He's just stepping across to make space, or fill space. Come on back out again. So look at his right foot. He's probably even kind of close to him there. See, now he's not stepping to him because he can be foot swept, all right? So there, and that's the pivot foot. Now look at the back leg here. It comes in deep. Now, let's turn it back. Come back out. Turn around. So give it back. So now watch this back leg as it steps in. See how deep that is? Splits right down the middle. That deep step is essential in this particular style of Uchi Mata. And notice that, so the surikomi action is not just with the hands. Not just with it's the whole body movement, okay? So he's stepping in and lifting. Now, when he does this, he will turn his head. As he turns his head, he's going to sweep. Did you notice he didn't try to lift it with his leg? Just like the advice he got from Jim Bregman, that I've got from just anybody who's a good Uchi Mata man or woman, is what it is just an assist. It's the cherry on the ice cream. Okay, it's the cherry, it's the topping.
And to that point, he said that the way that he learned it when he was over going to college over there, he was over there for like a couple of years. They explained that they would always start new students with Surikomi Goshi. And then you would add in the other steps. So, you know, move in, boom, okay, you got that down. Move in, lift the leg, now you got an Uchi Mata. So it just becomes adding a leg in there, and where the leg goes, all the other entry is the same. Now obviously we're not really using that Surikomi movement to jack them up with our standard grips, but the idea is still the same. As we're moving across, we hug him in with our back grip, okay? And we're starting to pull here. As soon as our back foot comes in there, you use that to really pull the guy in, and he starts moving that way, okay? And the leg comes in.
So as the head went down, foot went up, okay? Always point the toe, always point the toe. And if you think about it, I just got to lift with the leg, you'll never point your toe.
Yeah.
You've got to point that toe. Sure. Now watch, when he sets him up, now Surikomi action, lifting, pulling here, okay, like that. Now now watch the right foot across. It's not stepping to him, it's just across his body. Now he's giving his hips room to turn, and rotation is deep here. Got a lot of torque. He's ready to load him up and nail him. See that? Look at that back foot in there. And now as he keeps turning, he will split down the middle, get to the Uchi Mata. Okay? So that's how the mechanics of this thing work. And not that I teach the right way to do Uchi Mata, or Jim Bregman's the way is the only way, but a lot of people teach Uchi Mata wrong. And they get people into bad habits, they never develop a good Uchi Mata. And so I think you take step in progression, like learn the leg style Uchi Mata, the spinning Uchi Mata, to give yourself confidence and some good throwing skills. And you may like that. That may be your throw in your entire career in judo. That's great. But then advance on to this one. It's generally the next step I take my guys, somebody here in this room, that we can turn. It lets you learn to get your hip deep in there and to step in and ready to spin. That's really important to do. And it takes a long time. There's a big learning curve on Uchi Mata. Okay, it takes a long time, so don't expect you're going to get it right away. But you will if you keep doing it. The mechanics correctly every time, you'll make it happen. Anything to add to that?
So that with the back step, the deeper the back step, the easier it's going to be, the higher your head could be. It still has to dip, but it doesn't have to be like way down by your foot so that your other foot can go way high. But you have to substitute a deeper step in order to do that, because that gets your hips preloaded underneath his hips. So if my back step is right here, my legs have to come down now, and now we're back into more of the Surikomi style action where I lift them up with my legs and my arms, and then I come back through. So if we want to avoid having to use our legs so much, deeper back step. Along with that is as soon as you turn right, you're going to go, oh shoot, I'm going to face plant. So the turning point and the punching with your dominant hand is what's going to become important next. If you don't do that, yes, you will face plant, okay? But I always tell our guys, punch with your dominant hand and then look behind you as much as you can. He will land where he will land.
So watch how he does it. Watch the feet. Well, that's Surikomi action. Good there? Good. One more time. Everybody see? And we do this all the time. Poor Eric. You guys watch the videos, you know. But look here, when he talks about it when he's punching, just do your natural. But when you're coming in, see how this is? And he's now going to slug a guy, okay? And as he back steps in, be nice, but you can see how he does it. Make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. Be nice when you're out on the tatami. That's why I'm coming down like that. The more you punch, the more you're pile driving the guy into the mat, okay? So if you want to really focus on that aspect, make sure you're using a crash pad.
But what will keep you from doing that is a lot of pulling action here. This lifting hand with the left hand, the Shingitai, the pulling hand. Very, very important. We good? Let's try it.